Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Churchill Downs here on Saturday. It is May the 7th, 2016. Going to look at race number 12, the Kentucky Derby. Before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections. It's Kentucky Derby Day. It's a great card from Churchill. If you want the other races like the Turf Classic, the Pat Day Mile, it's a separate video because if I put it all together, you're going to be sitting here and you're going to be sitting here for 3 hours watching this, and I want to separate it so you could like take a break from it, and I don't want to be talking for 3 hours straight. So yeah, this video is only the Derby. So let's get on to it. Race number 12 from Churchill Downs is the 142nd running of the Kentucky Derby, presented by Yum Brands. Grade 1 purse $2 million for 3-year-olds. The purse is a little over $2 million. I don't know the exact number, but it's a little bit over 2 million. We have a field of 22 horses. 21 and 22 are also eligibles. They only run if somebody scratches by 9 a.m. Friday morning, I believe. They're traveling a mile and a quarter over the Churchill Downs surface. So you get the picture, mile and a quarter. And, you know, it's a wide open race this year, I think. A lot of people say it's one horse race with Nyquist. I don't think so. I think it's going to be like 2005, where you're going to have like big prices coming in. I really do, because the favorites have been winning the last 3 years. Let's see, who won last year? American Pharaoh won last year, favorite. California Chrome, favorite. Orb, favorite. I'll Have Another wasn't a favorite. I believe Animal Kingdom wasn't a favorite. Super Saver, I believe, was like a favorite. Mind That Bird definitely wasn't a favorite. Wasn't a favorite. What do you call that? Who won in 2008? Big Brown, favorite. 2007, Street Sense, I believe he was a favorite along with Barbaro. So I think we're gonna have some really big prices this year. It's like I said, it's very wide open. I'm gonna go through every horse. So yeah, and then I'll give you my plays and what I'm gonna do, pick 3 scenarios and stuff. Starting off with number 1, Trojan Nation, Aaron Grider for Pat Gallagher, a maiden. Um, you know, Looking at his form, it doesn't. Aaron Grider gave this horse a very good ride in the Wood Memorial, staying on the rail all throughout, and was closing on the rail on that very sloppy track that day. He finished second by a head behind the Outwork. It was in tight that day. I have to say it was a decent second place finish, finishing second at 81 to 1. That being said, will he, how much credibility is there to that Wood Memorial run, to that race? So, if a maiden could finish second, some very good horses in that race. I don't know if it was just because the slop that this horse ran good. It's very weird. I find this horse. He could be a play in the superfecta, in the bottom of my superfecta. To win, we'll have to see miracles. And that dreaded one hole, which is the thing everybody says you don't want, the one hole. This horse is a deep closer. If he was speed, I could understand, but he's a closer where we have a lot of them. I believe the first 4 horses are deep closers also. In the maiden special weight before the Wood Memorial, this horse finished third, was closing up to a third place finish. Again, then going a mile 16th to San Diego maiden special weight. This horse finished third by 9 lengths, a bit weakening. Couldn't catch Cupid, who just ran really well down in Arkansas in the Rebel. But to win, this horse will have to do a hell of a lot, and I mean a hell of a lot. Number 2, sudden breaking news: 20 to 1 Luis Quinones for Donnie Van Helm. I believe Donnie Van Helm's last runner was in 1989, something like that. It's been a while. This 3-year-old gelding, reported as a gelding on the 5th of May of 2015. They purchased this horse at Keeneland 2014 September sale for $72,000. I really like this horse. This horse is a definite use. He might need that pace meltdown like Giacomo had in 2005, but I just really like this horse. 20 to 1. I love the price also. And the Arkansas Derby, this horse was from far back. This horse was off 10 lengths off the lead, was closing like an express train. If the race was a mile 3/16, I think this horse got it. He's going to mile and a quarter for the first time, which would really help. To see this horse win, I don't want to see this horse 19th going down the backstretch. That would upset me, because but I would like to see this horse middle pack, maybe 10th, somewhere around there, 10th, 11th, not far back, but middle pack would be really good. And then in the Rebel, this horse finished fifth by 4 3/4 lengths. I think the distance of ground, the mile 16th, he was closing again that day, but just couldn't catch Cupid. Um, you know, he had a horrible trip. Also, he steadied a few times that day. And then in the Southwest was a very good race. Mile 16th had Oakland. His horse won by 2 3/4 lengths. Was 14th going down the backstretch, and was wide and just rallied. That was probably one of the best rallying races I've ever seen. Giacomo, I didn't have Giacomo in 2005, but that race is probably one of my favorite Kentucky Derbies of all time. It's just the most exciting, heart pounding, calling 9-1 just in case you have a heart attack in the middle of the race, because it's just so. That was a very good race, I think, that 2005 Derby. But this horse just reminds me of Giacomo, his running style. I think this horse could really run well. His dam, who is Uchito, I never heard of that horse. Um, Her father is a Fleet Alex who finished third in the 2005 Derby. So, is that something? I think that is. AP India and Mineshaft on the sire side. I really like this horse here. A Fleet Alex. I believe I had that 2005 Derby. Had a Fleet Alex. Don't Get Mad, I think, and who was the other horse? Bellamy Road. Yeah, Bellamy Road didn't run at all. So yeah, I think this horse. I really like this horse. He's been training good. He's been under the radar. Churchill, 5-4 workout, 59.3, eighth best out of 53. They started this horse on the turf originally. Broke some maiden on turf. He's finished has 8 out of 8 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds. So out of once he's finished once out of the money. That was in the Rebel. I think this horse is going to be on a big race today. Number 3, Creator, another deep closer with Ricardo Santana for Steve Asmussen out of Tapit. This horse won the Arkansas Derby, closing really well that day by 1 1/4 lengths. Just far back early, was last, basically almost the whole beginning of the race. And he closed very good. It was a lot of traffic trouble that day. That was a very good race. I think that Arkansas Derby. Again, another horse that might meet the pace meltdown if we get it. This horse finished third in the Rebel, closing up very good. Also, he was willingly that day. He needed a little bit more ground that day, and then broke a main special weight at Oakland. At Churchill, this horse has run once. That was on the slot back in November the 28th. He finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. He just flattened out that day. If we get a sloppy track, I don't think this horse, will run that good. But I have this horse maybe in the superfecta, but it's very iffy for me with this horse. I really, as a deep close, I really like sudden breaking news. This is not a use for me. Number 4, Motom is a use for me on a few tickets, especially on the the superfecta ticket. Last time at the fairgrounds, Mount Latham, Louisiana Derby, this horse finished fourth by 6 lengths. Just had a horrible trip. Checked badly at least 3 times during the race, 3 times. At the 3/16th pole, the 8th pole, Corey Lannery wasn't his best ride. Tom Amos was, just furious after that ride, saying Corey was not getting the ride. He's getting the ride today. I think this is the good race for Corey to prove himself, to redeem himself. This horse is just the definition of bad. Trips. Last time out, he checked badly in the Risen Star. He won the Lake Commons, but he hit the gate that day. In the Kentucky Jockey Club, this horse finished third. He had a decent third place finish, was gaining. Again, this horse might be a closer also. I have him, like I said, I have him on tickets. I've seen stranger things to happen. The morning line, Creator at 10-1. I would put this horse at, Creator. That's a very nice morning line, 10-1, because he won the Arkansas Derby. But I think this horse, Motom, should be, a lower of a notch personally. So yeah, he's a use on some tickets. Maybe in a pick 3. I might do a pick 3 where I single the first 2 legs. I might do the Oaks Turf Classic Derby pick 3, and I might single the first 2 legs, the Oaks and the Turf Classic, to maybe go a little bit all out in this race. But maybe on that. But he'll have. It's a very weird horse. Number 5, Gunrunner. I have him on definitely on a superfecta ticket here. Last time out in Louisiana Derby, this horse won by 4 1/4 lengths. He was underneath the lead that day. I think if you need to win the Derby, the way everybody's saying, or the race is or shaping up, you have to be near the lead this year. I think, you know, because you can't, because there's like no pace. There's not going to be a very fast pace of those closers. You're going to have to be very lucky with those closers. This horse just really ran really well in the Louisiana Derby. He won the Risen Star and finished fourth in the Jockey Club, finishing. He's been on or near the lead all throughout. He's not going to, I don't know, could this horse get the lead? I'm not sure. 10 to 1. It's a decent price on this horse. Flan Drew getting them out today. I have him on a few tickets. I would probably use him on the pick three ticket I'm making up. He's a decent horse. Number 6, My Man Sam. I read Ortiz at 21 for Chad Brown. He finished second coming out of the clouds at the Bluegrass at Keelan by 1 3/4 lengths. Was 14th, 13th, 13th, 5th, and second. And he just got second that day. And he had a very very wide trip, and he just got up for second. Can he do that again here? I don't think so. Then he was running at Aqueduct on the in 2016 early on the inner track in an optional 80 claimer, finished second by a length and won by 8 lengths going away. He'll have to do a hell of a lot to really to surprise me today. Number 7, Oscar nominated, 50 to 1, making his first start on a conventional dirt surface. Again, his spiral run was really good, won by a neck. You just don't know how this horse will do. He's been training, 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 4/5 of a second, and 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 1/5 of a second. He's been training decently, but it's another weird horse. They claimed this horse back in the Ramseys claimed this horse back in October from Belmont and Amarin Stables because they liked this horse. They had to put up the $200,000 fee to get this horse in Derby. He won his last two. He'll have to do a hell of a lot. He'll need that really good pace meltdown if he handles the dirt. This horse has a lot of questions. Too many questions for me to answer for this one. Number 8, Lonnie at 30 to 1. Yutaka Take coming in from Japan to ride this one. Yutaka Take, last time he rode in the Derby was 1995, before my time, a few months before my time, with me being born at the end of 1995. But, this horse. Won the UA Derby by 3/4 length, really going really well. Had a bad break, but he had a really good run, beating the heavy favorite Polar River, who's a very good horse. Then run in Tokyo Mile on the mud. Finished 5th by 2 3/4 lengths in one of their stakes races. He won the Group 2 last time out. He's been facing, in Japan they have those very very wide open races where they have like 17 horse fields, 16 horse fields. He's proven himself coming out of traffic that day, so maybe the traffic trouble is not a problem. But he's been very temperamental at Churchill this week. He had a workout on the 3rd of May, 5 furlongs and 101 flat, third best out of 18. 3 furlong workout, 37 and 2, and a 5 furlong workout and 106. So 5 furlongs, 106. Just get the horses' legs moving. They don't work. You have to remember they don't work outside of America. They don't work their horses as fast as we do. So maybe he's saving up for the race. Everybody says this horse is temperamental when he wants to. He he puts his feet into the ground who's that horse? Who's the horse who won the Tisnow before that 2001 Breeders' Cup Classic where he kept putting his feet in the ground. No, I don't want to run. And I think he might be the kind of horse. He kind of reminds me of that all week. Reminded me of Tisnow for some reason. So maybe this horse can be kind of a Tisnow kind of horse. Tisnow has never never ran at the Derby, I believe. But maybe he's like that temperamental kind of horse where he wants to do business at his own time, needs a little extra. He gets his regular jockey today. So this is a wise guy horse. I'll use him on a pick 3 because you never know. But it's just very weird. Tappy, I think he could go to the distance. I think the distance isn't a problem. Sunday Silence, who on the dam sign he has, won this race in the 80s. So it's a very weird horse. Lonnie. Number 9, Destin, 15 to 1. Javier Castellano hasn't run since the Tampa Bay Derby. Quite a long layoff, about 7 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. Now, this horse won the Tampa Bay Derby by a length, and was on near the lead. He's gonna be in that front bunch today. You know, he was running really good. He won that day. And then Sam F. Davis, again, stalking position. He won by 2 1/4 lengths, finished fourth in Lecmont, and finished second optional claimer. Never ran here at Churchill. Been training here at the grounds, 5 for 1 workout, 101 and 2/5 of a second, 30th best out of 53. I have him on a few tickets. Could be maybe a slight upsetter if he gets a good trip. Remember, Todd Pletcher's record here in the Derby is horrible. He's won once out of like 30 something starters. So just keep that in mind. You have to you have to do those things. Keep those things in mind when you look at certain races. Number 10, Whitmore, 20 to 1, Victor Espinosa. This 3-year-old gelding out of Pleasantly Perfect. Again, this horse will need this pace meltdown. Finished third in the Arkansas Derby. His last win came an optional claimer going 3/4 of a mile at Oakland. He's in this field because he's been very lucky, finishing second in the Southwest and the Rebel. You know, he'll just have to be very very lucky. He's been bothered a few times. He's brushed in the Arkansas Derby, bobbled at the in the what do you call that, Southwest Stakes, and the Rebel. He got blocked off. He'll have to do a hell of a lot, I think, to win 21. Not a use for me. Number 11, Exaggerator. At 8 to 1, everybody's talking about that move he had at Churchill on the slop. Excuse me, at San Anita on the slop in the San Anita Derby. This horse won by 6 1/4 lengths going away that day. Danzing, who's the horse? The 20 horse. Danzing Candy ran just too fast, I think, that day, and that's the reason I think this horse won. And plus the slop, I think this horse really does good over a sloppy course. If you look at both of his sloppy records, those were his best races, I think. But I have him on a ticket, but I'm trying to search for a price. He finished third in the San Felipe, he finished second behind in the San Vincente. Again, he'll have to 8 to 1. He's a weird horse, I have to say. He finished second in the British Charity, fourth in the British Cup and the British Cup Juvenile. Yeah, if you finish fourth in the British Cup Classic as 2-year-old, that's something. And then in the Delta Jack Pack, this horse won on the mud. But he'll have to do a hell of a lot, I think. You know, he's been in the money his last few times. He's been the workhorse of the group, running 9 times. But he's been training good, and I just think that last race was because of the slop, because he really likes the slop. If they get a sloppy track, I would bet this horse. But after that, he'll have his best races has come on the slop. But after that, there's not a lot you could. I personally could say about this horse. So yeah, number 12 is Tom's Ready at 31. Brian Hernandez finished second last time out in the Louisiana Derby for Dallas Stewart, who trains this one. Remember, Dallas Stewart always trains these closers. I also have him on a Superfecta ticket because Dallas Stewart, you have to put him on with these closers. It was really, had a horrible break that day. It was 4 wide. Was a little bit wide at the second turn. Wasn't the best run. Then the Risen Star, this horse finished 7th by 13 lengths. Just tired that day. Finished second in the Lecmont. He closed up that day, but then got nailed at the wire by Mo Tom. As a win, I don't think this horse could win. As a closer, for getting up for fourth or the super high five, maybe. Just maybe, I think. So yeah, number 13, Nyquist, 3 to 1. Here, yeah, 31, 3 to 1. With Doug O'Neill. He's a weird horse, I think. He'll be up or near the lead that day. He has a good pose position. But he needs a very good ride, I think. Hopefully Mario Gutierrez gets him. I want to find a price this race. He has, on paper, he looks like he can win. But there are certain things. He kind of reminds me of a Bellamy Road kind of horse. everybody's saying, "Oh, he can win Triple Crown," and then he runs 16th. He has to you have to see how the pace goes, because I think there's a lot of good horses that might close up that could beat him a lot today. Last time on the Florida Derby, this horse won by 3 1/4 lengths. He was just very good that day. It was a good track, and he did go wide into the second. He was on the lead all throughout, so he got the control. They went 111 to the 3 quarters and 136 to the mile, 47 to the half. So it was pretty easy fractions. Will he get that today? I don't know. I think they might run a sub 40 set, sub 40. I think they might run 45 and change maybe. And then the San Vicente 7 furlongs. This horse won by 1.5 lengths. Was on or near the lead all throughout, and just really game. And then the Breeze Cup Juvenile. I have to say, the Breeze Cup Juvenile is probably the best race for this horse. This horse he was off the lead for the first time. It was far back. He hit the gate coming out of the gate, and he got bumped. It wasn't the best run, and then he won by half length. He was closing up really well, but Swipe was coming also. So that's the kind of thing. If he has a horrible trip, it doesn't break properly, and he has to close up that day. The other horses were, if he doesn't get a clear trip, the other horses were getting him. The last few races he's gotten a clear trip. No horse gets a clear trip in the Derby. You just have to be incredibly lucky, I think, to get a clear trip. But I don't see him getting a clear trip. That's the thing. He'll have to do a lot. His last race, he had very easy fractions that day. He trained a mile on April the 29th at Keeneland, 1 mile, 141 flat, the best work out of 3 that day. He's been training at Keeneland out of Uncle Mo, who's meant to run this race in 2011 but scratched out of that day. So yeah, number 14, Nyquist's rival, Mo Heyman, the $2.2 million purchase at Keeneland 2014 September sale. 10-1 Junior Alvarado for Kieran McLaughlin. I really like this horse. His last race, everybody has a bad race now and again. You just don't want to have it today. You don't want to have the bad race today. He's a definite use for me on in the win column. Also, the win place and show. I really like this horse here out of Tapit. Last time out in the Gulfstream Park in the Florida Derby, this horse finished fourth by 8 1/4 lengths. Got dragged wide that day. It was just a horrible trip on a wet going. This horse's first time on a wet going did not. The track was already good. There was so much standing water that day. There was no chance that track was good. It was more towards a muddy course, and it wasn't the best track in the world, I think. So I think you could just throw that race out. Then a Gulfstream Park mile, and that was the horses. I'll get back to that later. But then start for those Gulfstream Park mile 16th at the Fountain of Youth. This horse won by 2 1/4 lengths. He had to stay off the lead. He was stalking the pace that day, and he had to go. He had to get a little wide, but he had to win. And then in the Holy Bull, this horse won by 3.5 lengths. So he was honored near the lead and just really ran really well. This horse was winner of his first first winner of his 5. Won the Nashu, won the Remsen really good that day. Was drifting, but that was, I think, one of the horse's best start. If you look at the Florida Derby, big question, I think. I like him, but there's just a small question. I always question a little bit of the horses. He got dragged wide. That was the first time this horse really faced challenging horses this year since the Remsen. That was 2 starts. So there was 2 pretty easy victories. I think he's going to have a monster race today. I think he's going to peak today for sure. Definitely use for me today 10-1 in the win category. Number 15, Outwork, 15-1. John Velasquez, trained by Todd Pletcher, owned by Rapoli Stable, who's actually his family is actually a good friends of my family. They actually live across the street from me. This horse will have to do. He's going to be the speed, I think. But, can he go the mile and a quarter? His last Wood Memorial run on the mud, there was a 80-1 shot closing in on him. And then in the Tampa Bay Derby, this horse finished second by length against Destin, who was closing up that day. That was the horse's first start in about a month also. After a long layoff going around 2 turns, that was the horse's first start around 2 turns also. But, it's a very weird horse. He'll be the pace. I don't see this horse winning, even though the trainer, the owner, is very good friends with my family. You know, he'll have to do a hell of a lot, I think, to win. Nearly getting beat by a maiden horse. It's just very weird with this one. Can he go the distance? That's what I say, basically. And I think there will be more horses that are going to be charging at the end, basically, to overtake this horse. But I've heard stranger things. Since the owner is since we know the owner, I might put this horse on a pick three ticket. But after that, I think maybe just down on the superfecta ticket, like fourth place, or a super high five, put down to the fifth place. Number 13, Shagaf, 20 to 1, Joel Rosario. Chad Brown trains this one. At Bernardini. This horse, last time out in the Wood Memorial, this horse finished fifth by 4 lengths that day. Had a horrible trip, was four wide, was a bit flat into the stretch. First time on a wet course. Then this horse was a winner of his first three. In the Gotham Stakes, this horse won by 1/4 lengths, coming off the lead. He ran really well. He at Gulfstream Park, 1 mile lopes, 75 claimed. This horse won by 2 lengths on the lead. He just was really running good. I do have him on a few tickets. I think this horse could maybe be a slight upsetter here. 21, nice price also on this horse. Joel Rosario, who's been out for a few weeks with the broken hand, I believe, or something like that. He's coming back. He came back a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, maybe now. So yeah, I think this horse could really be an upsetter. Getting, like I said, Joel Rosario is on this horse for the first time ever. Irad Ortiz chose to ride a different horse who rode him in previous starts. He's used on some tickets for me. Number 17, More Spirit, I definitely use at 12 to 1. Bob Baffert trains to 1. Gary Stevens. Let's just throw the superstition out of the window right now. No horse has ever won the Derby from post 17. I think that's just total as the British say, bollocks. I don't think this horse could. I think this horse could really upset here today. I look for a horse that has not peaked yet. I think this horse, hasn't peaked yet. I think he's running on. He's gonna have a very good race here today. Gary Stevens nearly won this race last year by finishing second behind Firing Line. He'll be near the lead tomorrow. He's not going to be first going down the into the clubhouse turn, but he'll be maybe fifth, sixth, somewhere around there. He'll be in that front. He'll be in the front for sure. But last time in the Sandy Derby on the soft mile and eighth, this horse finished second by 6 1/4 lengths behind Exaggerating. Gary Stevens in an interview after the race said this horse kept slipping that day. He did not like the track at all. And it's a lot of standing water on that course that day. He slipped at the he had a. I remember Gary Stevens saying he had a bit at the quarter pole, and he slipped again that day, and then after that he really couldn't get his composure back. Gary Stevens also said it's the kind of horse that you need when he has to, when he gets like track and gets in traffic, he takes a little bit longer to get him going. With this long stretch, I think that shouldn't be a problem. But he finished second, closing up a little bit that day. But then at San Anita Park, a mile 16th into San Felipe, he finished second by 2 lengths behind Danzig Candy, who went wire to wire basically. Who's going to be the definite speed of this race. He just steadied a few times that day going down the backstretch. Again, he finished second. If he didn't steady, I think this horse could really run a hell of a race that day. And then Robert B. Lewis, this horse won by 1.5 lengths, ran really well. And then the Low South Futurity. That Low South Futurity is probably one of the Hollywood Futurity before that, but the last two runnings have been pretty substantial, pretty good actually. Dortmund won in 2014, 2015, More Spirit won, Bob Baffert horses basically. But that's a very good race. Horse won by 1/4 lengths, coming off the lead. He was far back. He was six going into the turn. It was 3 wide, 4 wide, and he was drifting, but he ran really well. It was a very good race. And then ran over the surface as a 2-year-old in the Kentucky Jockey Club, the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club, was on near the lead. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths, getting taken over by Aero Force. He just gave in. I think it was the muddy course that day. Gets Gary Stevens, the veteran. He knows what he's doing. Definite horse who has a very good shot here. So I'm going to use him. Number 18, Majesto, 30 to 1, not a use for me. He finished second in the Florida Derby, but basically other than the only good horses in that race is basically Boheyman and Nyquist. But, Y'all have to do, 30 to 1, well deserved odds. He's won once, that was main special weight, very impressive main special weight. But after that, he's been, they haven't been the best runs. Not a use for me. Number 19, Brody's Cause, 12 to 1. Luis Saez for Dale Romans, another horse who closed out of the clouds last time out in the Bluegrass 20. He won by 3 1/4 lengths. He just cleared that day. Can that horse get the same victory today? It's very interesting. I have this horse in the Superfecta ticket for sure. Um, but I'll have to do a hell of a lot, I think, to really get on the to get the winning portion of the money. He finished seventh in the Tampa Bay Derby. He finished third in the Breeze Cup Juvenile after a lot of traffic trouble, closing up very well. And he won twice. Oh, three times actually. He won the Bluegrass. He won the Breeders' Futurity, and he won a maiden special weight here at Churchill, going 3/4 mile, closing really well. You know, I could see, maybe I'll have this horse on a pick three ticket. Like I said, I'm going to have a pick three ticket, with a few horses deep in this race. Just maybe I might have it. But it's a very weird race. Number 20, Dancing Candy at 15 to 1. Mike Smith. The definite speed of the race out of Torrell and Candy, who owns the 7 furlong track record at San Anita for winning the Malibu in 2010, I believe. This horse, on the slop last time out of Mile 8th in the San Anita Derby, this horse finished fourth by 13 1/4 lengths. He was setting the pace that day. He won 45 1 to the half, 110 to the 3/4. If he does that today, we might have those horses like sudden breaking news. Those deep closers might have a very strong chance. But this horse just weakened that day. Then to San Felipe in the mile 16th on March 12th. This horse won by 2 lengths, was on the lead all throughout, and just really ran, very game that day. And then an optional 80 claimer. This horse won by 5 3/4 lengths, again on the lead. All the races this horse has won was on the lead. I don't think a horse could go wire to wire in this race. I think there's a lot of stalking kind of horses and maybe some deep closures that could come up. If this horse wins, I'll be very very shocked. He'll and if he breaks bad, it's going to be a very different kind of race. Number 20, I'm going to go over the also eligibles just in case they enter. Number 21, Loben or Loben, something like that. My pronunciation of some words is horrible, are horrible, but 50 to 1, Cornelio Velasquez. If this horse enters the race, another maiden here. If this horse enters the race, this might be we'll have another speed horse that will really really help those closers. I'll be very more confident in those deep closers if this horse enters. But this horse finished fourth in the Bluegrass last time out, finished second in the Gotham, and third in the Champ. I don't think this horse could win. I think this horse is a definite speed horse, like maybe kind of a rabbit towards the other horses in my eyes, I think, to help those deep closers. Number 22, Cherry Wine, 31, Robbie Alvarado for Dale Romans. Last time out, finished third in the Bluegrass, finished fourth in the Rebel. Coming into this spot, horrible post position. He'll have to do a hell of a lot to get that deep closing run. Not a use for me. So now let's get to my selections of the horses I'm going to be using. I'm going to do what do you call it? I'm going to do an exacta this race. As a top selection, I have more Spirit. Really like his chances, but I'll give you three horses that I think could really upset here. I'm going to go more Spirit to 17. Number 2, Sudden Breaking News. And I really like number 14, Mo Heyman. Those are the three horses that I think could really have a very strong chance. They're going to be peaking today, I think, and have a very strong run. You know, but I might for Superfecta, I might go 17. I might box a 17-2-4 for the first three positions, and then underneath going to go 4, 5, 8, 9, 13, 15, 16, 19. You have to go. You have on the Derby. I like to spend a lot of money on the Superfecta, even though it's $1 minimum wager, which I'm not a fan of personally. I'd rather have it see it the 10-cent Super, but the dollar minimum base. You have to live with it. But if you could find it, I would go a little bit extra deep in those fourth place positions. So 17 to 14, those are going to be like the horses I really think to win here. But for a pick three scenario, I'm going to actually do the Oaks Woodford Turf Classic and and Derby pick three. For it's a 50 cents minimum base wager. I'm gonna key in on in the Oaks. Number 11, who is Rachel's Valentina. Really like her chances. She's a horse that could really peak up today. In the turf Woodford Turf Classic, I might single on the 12 horse. Big Blue Kin. That's so far it's 50 cents ticket. And then when we get to this race, the what do you call it? The turf, the Derby. I would go all out really. Some because you never know. It's a 50 cents bait wager, so you have if you have the money, I would go deep in this race because you never know. There could be some wise guy kind of horse. I would use probably the two. I would use 17, 2, 14. Those three horses for sure. I might make two tickets. I might use the single and use those three, and then make another ticket single those three plus the 4, 5, 8, 9, 13, 15, 16, 19. I might use all those for that kind of ticket would cost you if you want to play the turf the Oaks Turf Classic Derby ticket. That would cost you one. That's 50. That's dollars. So 50. That's $2. 250. 354. 455. That's about 650. I think something like that. If you want to play that way, so yeah. So for the pick three scenario, if I single, the horses I'll be using in the Derby are 4, 5, 8, 9, 13, 15, 16, 19, plus the 2, 14, 17. I will have these tickets on my YouTube account, so just in case you get worried. But the three main horses in my Derby are going to be 17 More Spirit, 2 Sudden Breaking News, and the 14 horse Mohaymen. So to recap my top selections: 17 More Spirit, 2 Sudden Breaking News, and number 14 Mohaymen. So good luck to all. Follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections, and remember to please watch my other videos for the Oaks and the undercard races for today, the Turf Classics, Pat Day Mile, all those races. So good luck to all, and follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody, and let's have a great Derby.